Okay, so we started software testing. We know what is meant by the testing. That is what we are testing the application as per the client requirement and need of the software testing. Okay, so this complete session we completed here. Need for the testing. Okay, advantages so to get the quality product. What are the qualities? Okay, as a good tester, what need some qualities. Then we started from here. That is the technical part. What are the types of the testing? That is what white box testing and black box testing. There are the two types, right? So white box testing is nothing but the structural and black box testing is a functional. So how we can explain the white box testing? White box testing. How we can say how we can explain the white box testing interviews?
White box texting is a basic knowledge of the internal logic of
Yeah.
code application, also known as the white glass box test.
Yes. Good. Open box testing also. Yeah. And you can also say open box testing. Open box.
Box test.
Open, not close. Open.
Open box texting.
Yeah. So the structural. You can check the word structure. Structure means program. Means code. Because every programming having their structure. So the word is important. Structural or white box testing. So those who knows internal logic of code, that person, the testing the application, that person you know this process is known as white box testing. Internal logic of code.
For instance,
Yeah.
for instance, if you are SD,
AT. Yeah. Yeah. You can perform the white box testing also. Because you are writing the code and you are checking the code in once time. That is unit testing. And unit testing is the part of white box testing.
Also like the component testing, right?
Yeah. And generally the developer will involve in the white box testing. They will write the code before sending to the QA team and they will check once it will executing or not. So that is what unit box testing is a part of white box testing. And functional, that is black box testing. So here the it's not required the internal logic of code. No coding knowledge is required. SDT engineer write the code for functional checking, not for developers written code checking. Okay, SDT write the code.
That's the mostly focused for the
Functional.
functional
Yes, yes. Yeah. Because why they are should go they why should they will go to check the developer's code? SDT engineer is not going to check the developer's code. They are going to check our code, tester's code. Yeah, that is functional testing code. Okay, UI testing. So the functional or black box testing, that is generally the testers are involved here. Okay, because they are not aware about the internal logic of code. Okay, glass box testing, unit testing. Okay, and what are the levels of the testing?
flows.
Levels. Yeah, levels applicable to. Yeah, unit testing. Yeah, integration and system. So in unit testing, we'll check in the single unit, the testing path within the unit. Integration, we are checking the paths between the units, more than two units. Okay, system testing, the paths between the subsystem. Yes. So black box testing. So we are not focused on the internal system design, only we focus on the requirement and functionality. So how you know the requirement and functionality? Because we have the FRS document. Okay, FRS or FRD, functional requirement document or functional requirement specification. So all this requirement and functionality are described in the FRS, functional requirement specification. So as per the functional requirement, we are going to test the application. So that is what testers are involved here, to check the functionality of the application. So some sample FRS document I am going to show you. Here having the some functionalities described here. Suppose here is the insurance management system and admin home page, and there is a branch label, branch page. So okay, clicking the branch registration link will be take us to the add branch details page. So when we click on this branch, so it will show the add branch detail page. Okay, means a branch registration page. Is this the link? If you click on this link, so it will show the add branch details under the page, branch page. So these are the functional requirements specification are given here. So all the fields are mandatory. So we can write the some test cases for the all fields are mandatory, means that is positive testing and negative testing. Okay, all fields are mandatory. If you are not provide any data to the field, so it will able to see the error message will be display, please enter this value. Okay, this mandate or this field is mandatory. Okay, so we can write a test case like this way. And now here the functional requirement, another branch name accept the 4 to 15 alphanumeric. So sorry, here alphanumeric we can consider only the alphabetic, not alphanumeric, because this is a branch name. Okay, so we have their boundary value analysis, that is 4 to 15. So not less than 4 and not more than 15. Exactly lies between the 4 to 15. This is our functional requirement. So as per our functional requirement, so we are going to the testing testers are involved here. So that is why black box testing. Okay. As per the functional requirement, we are going to check the application or test the application. So that is what black box testing. And here are the some black box testing techniques: boundary value analysis, okay, equivalence partitioning. Okay, we will see later this one. Okay, so boundary value analysis means same thing. Okay, so we have here this one 4 to 12, minimum 4, max 12. Okay, so that should be accept only these characters, not less than or not more than this one. That is boundary value analysis, how we can write the test cases. Okay, so this is also the technique that is involved in the test plan, right? So the difference between the black box and white box we have seen this one, that is also completed. Okay, so from today we are going to start the SDLC process. Okay, and what is SDLC? So have you heard the word SDLC? Yes.
Software development life system.
Yeah, so
Life cycle.
life cycle, yeah, correct, good. So software development life cycle. So every company, IT industry or software company that follows the one model or SDLC, so that may be the waterfall or agile. Nowadays the all this 90% industry are using the agile model. Okay, so there are what is SDLC. In interview they will ask what is SDLC, what are the phases are involved in the SDLC. So this is just what it's a process that is followed for what development of the any software project, where in IT industry or you can say in the software organization, any software organization that follows the one standard life cycle, that is model, how we are going to develop this software. So what are the principles are we are going to apply. Okay, so that is depend upon the client requirement, schedule, duration, cost, everything. Okay, that is matter. So that is dependent. So which model is suitable for this application, they will organize the client or project manager or industry identifies that one. Okay, just SDLC is one of the model where we have the some different kind of the models are available for the software industry to develop and software application or software product. So it consists of the detailed plan describing how to develop, maintain, replace and alter or enhance the specific software. So now the one of the customer, they want to develop their one application e-commerce domain where application, that is one software. So he will put their requirement. So I want like this way I want, and my budget is this one. Okay, so the requirement is not going to be changed. So if the requirement is fixed, then they use the different model. If the requirement of keep on changing, so they use a different model. So there is what one application, this is what or software product or application. So how we are going to develop this one? So we required some requirement. What are the exact requirement of the client or customer? Requirement analysis means we have to gather the requirement, then how we can develop, mean how we can design, then how we are going to code, means develop, and then maintenance and coding and sorry, testing and maintenance. Okay, so these are the some phases are involved in the SDLC process. So this SDLC is just describing how to develop and we are going to maintain our software application. Just one of the SDLC software development life cycle, and what are the phases are involved in the software development life cycle we are going to see. But in SDLC is just model how we are going to develop the software or software application in software industry. The standard SDLC models is followed by the software companies where we can alter, replace, maintain and develop the applications. Okay, so here the life cycle defines the methodology for improving the quality of the software and overall development process. So if you not follows the any SDLC standard model, so you will not get the proper quality and good product, because just customer has given the some requirement and where we are working dot one, and suddenly the requirement will get changed, and again you have to follow the other requirement. So and you are not following the proper uh, model, so that will be the very complicated for that one. Okay, so that's why we have to improve the software quality product. So if you get the quality product, we must have to follow the one of the standard SDLC process. Then what are the different SDLC process and what are the phases are involved in the software development life cycle, and that we are going to see. Okay, so SDLC software development life cycle, and here what are the phases are involved. Okay, so SDLC is nothing but the one process or process we can follow in the software industry to develop an software application. Okay, SDLC is the process that follows in the IT industry to develop the software product. So we have the standard software development lifecycle models. Okay, we'll see later that one. So now we can see in SDLC what are the phases are involved. So these phases are very important. So first is what, whenever we are going to create or develop anything, so first of all we need to think on that one. Okay, what we are going to do. So we can gather the some informations. So that is what requirement gathering. That is what requirement gathering. Okay, so this is our first phase of the SDLC. Here the requirement are get captured. Okay, what we are going to develop. So we have to develop one of the banking application. So first of all you have to collect the requirement, what you want in the first page, what will be the functionality, what are the major functionality. So that is core thing will be calculated, and that is capturing. Okay, that is the first phase of the SDLC. And next one, analysis on that the requirement. Okay, do the analysis. You know, these pages, requirement capturing and analysis, these pages will do by the business analyst. Okay, they are involved here. BA, business analyst. Okay, so he is the business analyst, is the client representative. Okay, clients give the requirement to the BA, and BA gather and capture the all this requirement, and he do the analysis on that one and create the BRS document. Okay, which create the BRS document. What is BRS? Or yes, specification. Specification. S stand for the specification, D stand for the document. Okay, some industry use the BRD word, some industry use the BRS word. Okay, in software industry or any in software industry, or we are using these three documentations are very important: FRD or FRS, FRS or FRD, that is functional requirement specification or functional requirement document. This document is generally refer testers. Then SRS or SRD, this is what software requirement specification or document. So this document generally referred who developers. Okay, according to this one they are going to write the code. And BRD, that is business requirement specification or business requirement document, who will create this one? Business analyst. Here are the business requirement are returns. Okay, but it's in the high level. So once the analysis is completed, then the next phase is the design. So design means what? They are going to design the documentation, that is activity diagram, class diagram, use case diagram, database diagram, database architecture, whole application architecture, modules architecture. All the designing will get start. Okay, so once there is a one actor, then he will put the ATM to the ATM machine, then enter the pin code, whatever that one. So all these activities are going to be performed like this. So all these things are available in the details of the documentation. That is designing. We are going to do the designing of the entire applications. And after completion of the designing, then where the developer is going to do the development. That is what? Coding. This phase is involved. Okay, coding phase is involved, and here the developer or coder, the write the code for designing this application, UI designing and business logic for the backend development. Okay, after the completion of this coding, the next phase is involved in SDLC, that is what? Testing phase. So in the testing phase, what we are going to do, the testers are involved in this phase, and the testers are test the applications or software product as per the client requirement, as per the functional requirement. Okay, and next one is the implementation part. So in the next implementation part, if there any after doing the testing, if any requirement required any implementation in this application, so to enhance the application, so some they can implement here. Okay, and after that one, the last phase of this SDLC, that will what? Maintenance or the support. Okay, so once this is deployed, and how we are maintaining this application once it's completed and we are deploy, but uh, currently we develop the application for the 50,000 users are accessing, so that is stable, and now the users are increases, the load is increases, and we are not maintaining properly. So once the 1 lakh users are hitted our applications, and that is going to down, crashing the application, so that is what we are not maintaining properly. So we have to maintain that one also, and we have to give the supports also. Okay, once the we release the one product and getting the some issues, so we have to support that one. So my, the any product having the customer call numbers, and they call there and they will give the support like this. Also the softwares. Okay, developer develop that, tester test that and deploy that one, and the some after the some day, months or years, the something issues is going to be happen in that project, so we have to do the support like this way. Okay, so these phases are involved in the SDLC. That is major phases in SDLC process. Okay, that is requirement analysis, designing, coding, and testing. Okay, you can check this more phase, that is the important four phases: requirement analysis, designing, coding, coding and testing. Okay, 4 to 5 phases are important, right? So implementation is also involved, supportive maintenance is also involved. Okay, but this is general SDLC phases. Okay, general SDLC phases. So once the software or application get started development, so it will go to this entire life cycle, and after that you will get in the market. Okay, once this is start for developing the software application or product. Okay, so it will undergoes this all these phases, and later you will get here the product into the market. Okay, so I am talking about here software product. So this is for what? Software development life cycle. So any software will go on through these phases and will get here in the market. Okay, to follow these phases we have some standard SDLC models. Okay, some standard SDLC models are there. So these are the models: waterfall models, incremental models, prototype model, spiral model, RAD model, V model, agile model. So nowadays, so 90% of the IT industry are uses the agile model. Okay, agile methodology, agile scrum. IT software company that is uses the agile, and you have to also say currently we are working in the agile model. Okay, we are following the agile model, we are following the scrum framework. Okay, we are following the scrum framework. So you have to say like this way, because in this agile model the requirement is a change, so we are welcome this requirement, we can do the work on this one within the week or whatever our sprint time, we complete that one. But other model, we have to fix the requirement, and the after the one phase is completed, the second phase will be start. The second phase is completed, then third phase will start. Okay, but in the agile model we can do the changes within the sprint time, whatever the sprint time that we have. Okay, that is most important, that is agile scrum, because we have to say we are following the agile scrum. Okay, so these are what SDLC phases: planning, means requirement analysis, right? Defining, designing, building, testing and deployment. Okay, after the testing we deploy our product to the server. So these are the phases are involved in the SDLC process. So now we can say the first stage, planning and requirement analysis. So here planning and requirement analysis, once we have the requirements, we have to gather the requirement. So requirement gathering will done by the business analyst. Okay, or we have the some domain knowledge or any senior person, so he go to the client, and the business analyst is the client representative. Okay, it's a client representative, and client work, so business analyst work with the closely with the client, because all the requirement will take from the client, and is create the business requirement specification document and will work on that one. Okay, so this is most important phase in SDLC process, that is the first phase, that is requirement. So requirement analysis is most important, and it's a fundamental stage in SDLC. So it is performed by who is performed? Senior member of the team, with the inputs from the customers or client and the sales department, market surveys and domain expert in the industry. Okay, so the person is from the senior member of our team, those who has the very good knowledge about this domain. So he one of the person having the 10 plus year experience in the banking domain, and current our project is the banking, so that person will send to the client. Okay, one of the person having the good domain good domain knowledge in e-commerce, so that person will send to the client for taking the requirement. Okay, that is for taking the inputs from the customer. So most senior person of the team will go to the customer and take the input from him and gather this requirement and then create the one document. So that the name is documented business requirement specification. Okay, so this information is used to plan the basic project approach and to conduct the project feasibility study in the economical, operational and technical area. So once the requirement is gathered, so they will start to create a basic plan how we are going to conduct, how we are going to uh, develop this application, some how we are going to provide some technical solution for this one. So basic they are going to understand. Okay, basic things, only basic things for the requirement. And also the planning for the quality assurance requirement, identification of the risk associated with the projects, and also done the planning with the planning stages. So quality assurance requirement also plan for that one. Once here how we are going to develop that application technical areas, work on this one, and simultaneously then how we are going to test that application. That is what quality assurance requirement. Then how we can identify the risk. Okay, so risk and mitigations. Okay, risk means the problems and mitigations means how we are going to overcome the problems. So once you start it like this, in subscription based application like a Netflix and this one. So if you want to gathering the requirement for creating the subscription based application, for example like OTT platform Netflix like this. So in your mind as a quality engineer or quality tester, as a tester what will come, so only one username and password but multiple devices can log in. Okay, that should not be login. Only one device, only username password, only one username password should be login, only one device. Okay, so that password sharing it not should be happen. Okay, so we have to identify the risk here. Means only username and password, the two or three persons are using the same username password and they are accessing the OTT platform, that is Netflix, right, for example, right? So that should not be happen. So one device, one username password, so that with the identification of risk, right? So we have to planning that one, then how we are going to test and how we can overcome this one, right? So I think you have seen or seen in the newspaper that in India, Netflix are people are using sharing the username and password, right? That is most thing happen in India. Okay. So here the next outcome of the technical feasibility study to define the various technical approaches that can be followed to implement the project successful within the minimum risk. So the same thing right now I have explained. So how we are going to provide the technical feasibility. Okay, so here the technical feasibility we are going to study how we are going to give this technical solution for this approaches and how we are going to implement that one. So that we will get the quality product and minimum risk. Okay, that is what minimum risk. Okay, so everything that we are going to do in the planning and requirement analysis phase, that is what stage one for the any software development life cycle for the developing any software application. This is the stage one is important. And now in this requirement analysis and planning, so what exactly happen in the IT industry? Okay, so this is very important. As a quality engineer, as a tester, you just have to know this one, but no one will ask the interview questions on this one. Okay, no one asks this question, but at least you should have to know this one, how it will work in IT industry. Okay, so how the project will come, how the project will assign to the industry, how it start. Okay, so suppose there is a one client and client want to develop the one software. The software is what banking application, right? So how the client will interact with the industry. Okay, so first of all they use RFP. So that is what request fair proposal. Okay, we see here our SDLC process: planning, defining, designing, building, testing, deployment. And we see in our first place, that is what planning and requirement analysis, right? So how to get the project to the IT industry, that is service based companies like TCS, Infosys, Capgemini, okay, Accenture. So how to get the project, these companies, the UST. So now the client or customer that gives the RFP to the companies, okay, to IT industry or software company, that is RFP. So the RFP is what? Request fair proposal. So suppose I am the client, I want to develop the banking application. So I am going to give to the vendors, okay. So the client will distribute the RFP, request fair proposal, okay, request fair proposal, request fair proposal, okay. So the request fair proposal distribute to the vendors, okay. Because so you can check here, I am the client or customer, I want to develop the banking application, okay, banking software. So I am giving my proposal, that is what request fair proposal, RFP, to the various software company. So this is one of the software company is UST, it's a US based company. I am giving something, one of the company. Then again I am different company, I am giving the Capgemini, okay. So that is what request fair proposal I am giving to the vendors, that is what software, who is giving clients. And after that the company will respond RFP with their proposal, okay. So the companies get respond to their RFP, request fair proposal, with their proposal. So the client gives the RFP and the vendors, means software company, will reply with their proposal. So you know, RFP is what content. So in RFP, request fair proposal, so the client describe their business, client describe what kind of the application they required, what kind of the software they required, okay. And this proposal will send to the software company. Then software companies is see their proposal, understand their requirement, and they can develop their request. They respond to the RFP with their company's proposal. So in this company proposal, what contains? That contains the technical solution, schedule, timeline, resource, cost, deliverables, value-added services, and etc. So the software companies gives the response to the client with their proposal, and this proposal contains the technical solutions. So for example, client is requesting for the banking application. So in the proposal will gives the technical solution for the banking. In the banking, the core banking, account opening, fund transfer, third party transfer, international banking, right, internet banking, and so everything is providing the technical solution. Then schedule in this application, how much time will be required to complete this application. Probability time will be given there, the 4 to 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, like this way, okay. Timeline, resources, okay, how to start, when to complete the schedule, timeline. Then resource, how many resources required, how many developers required, testers required, DevOps engineers required, business analysts required. That is what number of resources, everything is mentioned in the proposal. Then cost, okay, so what will be the cost for this application or project or software, right. Then deliverables, okay, deliverables. So what are the documents? Deliverable means the documents, okay. What will be the documents will going to be sent to the the clients, that is all the documents, value added services, any value added services required, so that is also added there. Okay, so etc., that is all this is available in the proposal for from the software company. Okay, if this proposal is get accepted by the client, okay, if the proposal get accepted by the client, right? So suppose I am the client, I am the customer, and I like this proposal. Okay, I like this proposal, I like this cost. Okay, what is technical solution that is provided, value added services they have described there, I like this one. So once I like this one, so I am going to done this one. That means the work order, that means one, we can say the commitment is done with client and company. Okay, that is one software company. Okay, so commitment will be done, so we know we fix that one. Okay, so that means we are ready to do the business with him. Okay, we are ready to do the business, so we fix the cost. Okay, and we like this proposal, and we are doing the commitment on this one. Okay, so that means what, and that statement is known as the work order. Okay, we can say SOW, that is statement of work. Okay, statement of work means we are going to provide the agreement. Okay, so agreement between the company and client, company and customer. Okay, company and client, so that is work order. So statement of work order, so we are going to sign that one. Okay, so that means it is the going to fix that the client and company can mutually understand the agreement, and we sign the agreement. So this is our project or application product, we have to develop this one within this time period and everything, and the cost will be this one, and the client is agree that one, so we are providing the agreement. And once the client is sign on that one, so it will provide a statement of work, that is SOW, it's a work order. Okay, statement of work, that is work order. And once the work order is done, then 100%, that means the company got a project. Okay, so software company, we got a project now, and let us take the one kickoff meeting to identify the project manager. Okay, so kickoff meeting will be happen, so let us celebrate in this organization, hey, we got a project now, and we have the meeting. So this project, who will lead this project, so the company will identify the project manager. And now the once the project manager get identified, so the project manager and the client communicate with the project manager. Okay, and the client is also available in this meeting for the kickoff meeting. Okay, because the client required a good project manager. Okay, so that's why the client communicate with the project manager. Okay, so because in my project the entire 3 to 5 years are working, so he need the proper candidate as a project manager. He can understand the requirement, he can communicate well with the client, and as per the requirement changes, they are going to develop and maintain their project. So they required a good project manager. So that's why the client is also available in this meeting for the client kickoff meeting. Here the project manager is get identified. Once the project manager gets identified, and then project manager will start their work. The real work of the project development is going to start from here. Okay, so that is the project manager develop the one document, that is what PMP, the PMP. Okay, so PMP is project management plan. Okay, so these words you have to keep in your mind, that is SOWF, RFP, PMP, BRS, SRS. Okay, as a tester, we have to know this one, how it will work. Okay, so once the kickoff meeting is done, So it is used to identify the project manager. So now we have identified the project manager, and now the project manager will see the requirement and everything, the documents, and after that he is going to write project management plan, and the project manager is execute and manage the entire project. Okay, entire project, right? So the what is the difference between the project and product? Project versus product. What is project and what is product? Yes. Hi Slim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Yeah. So may I know what is project and what is product?
Project and product.
Yeah. Difference between the project and product.
Product is what the client requires,
Hmm. Yes.
and project is what uh, product is the result
Hmm.
of the project.
Yeah. So we can say the project. Uh, its a name is given. In that project, we can develop the multiple applications, multiple product. Okay. So project is for the client, and we are going to develop there the some application, that is what product. Okay, so we can the for the same project there will be the multiple product. Okay, so the project for us, and sorry, project for us and product for the client. Product for the client. Yeah. Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, as per the requirement. So product for the clients, project for us. So suppose we have the project banking domain, that may be the different applications for the banking. Okay, this is the project. Which is the project? Banking and finance is the project. Banking finance is the our for our side. This is the project, and the clients required the application for banking application. Then these required the internet application. Then required a fund transfer application. Again, they required a finance domain. Like here, one module that is required. Stock markets applications here. Okay, these are what product, we can say these are the product, and this is entire this one the project. Okay, so the project is for us and the product are for the clients. Okay, so we got the project. The project manager will handle this project. Okay, so project management plan is execute and manage everything. So he first of all he create the project management plan, this document, for execute and manage the entire project. Okay, so entire, how the project will get start, how what are the things will be available. Okay, how develop, how test, everything will be available in the project management plan. Okay, so the project manager is responsible for this all this documentation. Once the PMP is completed, then he write the BRS. Okay, the business requirement specification. So here are the high level documents that consist of the business requirement. Okay, here is consist of the business requirement. So here the business analyst will involve to write this document, and after completion of the BRS document, then the software development team or uh, solution architecture or development team, the person they are going to write the SRS document, that is what software requirement specification. Okay, so project management plan is completed, then business requirement specification is going to be start for writing this document. After this document completed, then SRS document is start. Okay, so here business analyst will involve for writing this document. It's contain the high level documents and all these problems are available. Okay, so how the whatever the business requirement capturing that described properly here, and as per the business requirement, so developer they are going to write or design the document is known as software requirement specification. Thus high level documentation is converted into software requirement specification document, and later it is converted into FRS functional requirement specification. Okay, so as per the SRS documentation, so developer is going to write a code. Okay, so developer is going to write this code. Okay, so first of all, how the s- any project will get the software industry. So there is a one client gives the RFP to the vendors. RFP means request fair proposal is gives to the vendors are nothing but the software companies. Then software companies will gives the response to their RFP with their proposal, and in this proposal that contain the technical solutions, timeline, schedule, resources, everything that is contains. And if this client satisfied with this proposal, then they will do the agreement between the two them, that is sign the one statement work, that is what SOW, statement of work they will sign. If the client is not like this proposal, if you want to implement that one, so client requests the vendors to change something there. Okay, if then after that the client happy with their happy with their proposal, then we'll do the SOW, statement of work, means work order, that is do the agreement. Okay, so the client requests to the various software companies, they check the proposal from the various software companies, and the clients having whenever the clients like the any software company's proposal, then he will go to that software company and make the agreement, that is statement of work. Once this is sign off, that means your the agreement is done. So now you are ready to work with this one, and the software company start the work. Okay, so once the SOW, that is a statement of work, is completed, work order sign up, then they are a IT company or software industry, they celebrate, we got the project now. So let us they are going to give the one meeting, so that is the meeting name is what, kickoff meeting. Here we are going to identify the project manager, here the client is also involved in this meeting. Okay, so the because the client having the 2 to 3 or 5 years of the project, so that's why he's identify the good project manager, and he's also communicate, because project manager is the person is communicate with the client for the anytime, right? Because all this project related uh, queries or project related questions or any doubts, so the client is directly communicate the project manager, because he is the boss of this project now. Okay, so he's the manager of this project, that's why the client is communicate with him directly, so anytime. So once the project manager is identified, then the project manager will create a project management plan to execute and manage that one. So in the project management plan, that contains the entire application, how we are going to develop, test, deploy, everything is explained here. And according to the project management plan, so the business requirement specification document will be created, so that contains the high level requirement, that is problems. And according to the BRS, that contain the software requirement specification document will be created. So here the SRS that contain the software solutions. Okay, so one of the SRS document I am going to show you here, the software requirement specification documents. Okay, so how this documents is look like. Okay, this is what existing system, and we have to propose this system like this way. Okay, searching capability required, user friendly policy, these are software requirement specification. We required these two modules, CEO, manager, agent, customer. Okay, so everything are described. like this way. So and that contain the diagrams also. Okay, but we are not going to involve here. So we can see this document, but generally only FRS document we will see. In software requirement that contain the some document, that is diagram, database diagram, architectural diagram, use case diagram, UI diagram. Okay, the diagram also available there. Like a flow diagrams. Okay, you can check here like this flow. So the task admin, then admin can see the branches, role, user, employee, home, something. Okay, like this way, and that converted into the software requirement document. Okay, so actor click on the branches, the system display the branch details like this way. Okay, so every document, everything will be provided by the organization. And the before giving to the project, so first of all they will provide a KT. So that is what knowledge transfer training, that is mandatory. Okay, so then directly we will not going to deploy on the project. Okay, they must have to provide a training, right? So that is what KT, knowledge transfer. They will provide a knowledge transfer training. That is very important. So once the document is gets created, then the development team work on these portions. Okay, and testing team is work on this one. Okay, means testing team will do this part and development team will do this part. Okay, so this is common documentations, PMP, BRS and SRS. Okay, once this documentation is completed, business requirement specification and software requirement specification, and then actual work will be start. Okay, this will be done by the development team and this will be done by the testing team. Okay, so how it will be work? So this part we are going to continue on the next class, that is on tomorrow. Okay, so today we are going to stop here. Just today we seen SDLC process and what are the different phases are involved in the SDLC. So in interview they will ask you what is SDLC and what are the different phases are involved in the SDLC, and please explain the SDLC model. Okay, so they will ask what is SDLC. SDLC is nothing but the software development life cycle. Here the any software industry or IT industry that use this process how to develop the application or software. And here the SDLC that involves some phases as requirement analysis, designing, coding and testing. So requirement, that is what we are going to gather the requirement. Analysis, we are going to do the analysis of the requirement, do the analysis, and after the designing portion will be start, that is documentation. And after this completion designing, then the documentation is completed, designing part, UI development, everything, then the coding will part will be start. The coding, the coders are involved, that is developer develop that application, that is writing the code. And after this phasing completion of the coding, the testing phase is involved. Okay, so in the testing, testers are involved to test that application. So this is what SDLC process, and these are the phases are involved in the SDLC. Okay, implementation and maintenance, these are the phases. And we are seeing here the planning and requirement. So here the client representative, we can say the business analyst will take the requirement from the client. He will take the inputs, and the person should be the domain expert that particular domain, and we take the input and can conduct this, how we are going to work on that one, how what will be the risk and mitigations we are going to identify the risk, and how we are going to overcome that one. So that will be the identify in the phase, that is a planning and requirement analysis phase. Okay, so here once we get the requirement, then we RFP, that is request fair proposal, client gives to the software company, that is request fair proposal. And the software company, that is what vendors will give the response with their proposal that contain the technical solution, cost, schedule, timelines, everything. And once the client is agree with this proposal, so we work. So we sign off this work order, that is we to complete confirm the agreement. So sign off statement of work, we can say statement of work, that is a work order. And once the work order is completed, sign off, then they started the one meeting, that is a kick-off meeting, to identify the project manager. Once the project manager is get identified, then the project manager create their plans, that is known as the PMP, project management plan, to for execution and manage everything. And the first documentation is created, that is the busiest BRS. And now the actual requirement gathering is started from here. So in the BRS, that contains the high level requirement in high level documents. Okay, so all these problems are written here. And for this documentation, they provide the software requirement specification. So how we are going to design the software, how we are going to design this one, the requirement as per the software, so that is contained in the SRS documentation. Okay, so after this BRS and SRS document is completed, then we are the developer will start developing this application, and tester is going to start to test the application. So how this both department is work. Okay, so in the next class we are going to see that one, right?
Yes.
Okay, I hope you are understand this one, how the project will get in the software industry.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw something like this, and I read the notes I was reading through yesterday.
Mhm.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is why after this, those were like people doing the validation and the verification, right?
Mhm.
After this, after the SRS, right?
Yeah, so after SRS, validations and verification. So once this is complete, FVRS, SRS, okay, business requirement specification, SRS, then FRS, that is functional requirement. So tester is used that one. So here BRS and SRS, after that the actual development is start. Here is the documentation. Actually, agriculture, this it's exactly. And this development team is developing and testing team is testing. Okay, that is sometimes they use the V model. So here validation and verification. So if you are asking the one question between what is the difference between the validation and verification. So verification means we are going to check whether the application is building in right way or not. Okay, this is verification. And validation means whether the application is built in the right way or not. Right, whether we building the right application or not. That is validation. Means validation we are taking the input. Verification we are checking. Verification means whether we are building the right application or not. And validation means whether we build the right application or not. That is validation. Are you getting? Hello?
Yeah.
So verification and validation, that will be start later. Once the documentation is completed, FRS is completed. Okay. After completion of the FRS, yeah, that is next level. So here is started when the testing team write test plan, scenario, test cases. In the test cases of the execution, that is what we are doing the validation and verification here. Execution of the test case, that is testing there. And we are using the agile scrum model. So in the piece of software we'll get, that is known as the build. Okay, this is the build. We got here build version 1. Okay, this is version 1. Now we are going to test that one build, and we are doing their validation as well as verification. Okay, so no, simultaneously QAC and QA. Build the software. Okay, verification means the process of building the software. We are testing the software during the building of application, during the development, during the development. After the development of application, we are testing the application, that is validation. Okay, verification during the development. Okay, during in the process, we are testing in the process, that is verification. We are testing after the build, After the completion, that is validation. Okay. Yes, so we have this one. Okay, so once we completed this one, we started actual writing the test cases, test scenario. So we really understand this one clearly. Okay, so we have that one also. What is verification and what is validation? Everything is available. Don't worry. So V models is there. Okay, so here verification as well as validation is start. That is V model of the SDLC. Requirement analysis. Okay, then test. Okay, architecture like this way. Okay, requirement architecture simultaneously do that one. Validation and verification validation. So everyone is follows the agile scrum. 90% IT industries follow this one. So the project management plan and project management process. So that is details is available here. Okay, so we'll see later this one. So just we are taking overview now. Okay, just we are taking the overview. So we have here, right? What is verification validation? This is the interview questions. Okay, this is what interview questions. So we'll see later everything. Don't worry. Okay, everything is available. Everything is available. Verification validations.
I trust you.
Yes, yes, everything is available. Don't worry. Once I completed my manual testing, and you can just check what is remaining. I will cover that one. Okay, but 90%, 99% I am covering here. Don't worry. Okay, apart from this one, nothing is there in the manual testing. Okay, this one smoke testing, sanity testing, regression testing. Okay, everything, and that's it. Completion of the manual testing. That is interviews question. What is verification, validation? Okay, so don't worry. So we have everything we have. So just you have to understand this one how the project is come to the industry and in the initial stage how it will work. Initial stage. This is the initial stage now. We are learning in the how the project is come. What is RFP, PMP, that is BRS, SRS. Three documentation is required important: BRS, SRS, FRS. Okay, and tomorrow we are going to see. Uh, After completion of the SRS documentation, then what kind of the documentation is start to work and how the development team is work and how the testing team will be work. We'll see in the tomorrow in the next class. Okay. Yeah. So I hope you